Stop the collections against you. Don't feel overwhelmed. Please call the Consumer Hotline to see if you qualify. 800-535-3787. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS, you may qualify for substantial relief and even forgiveness. See if you qualify and get the help you need by calling the Consumer Hotline. 800-535-3787. That's 800-535-3787. 800-535-3787.
Rough weather impacting much of the country this weekend.
A tornado touching down in Chesapeake, Virginia, also doing damage in Virginia Beach, where over 30 people displaced from their severely damaged homes. Another round of severe weather expected today in Texas, and tomorrow in the Houston area. Could see some strong, damaging tornadoes then.
ABC News senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. And now there are 4. ABC's Jeff Scott with more on tonight's Final Four games.
Many are calling this Cinderella Saturday. The Oregon Ducks facing North Carolina. The Tar Heels losing last year's championship game to Villanova in heartbreaking fashion.
We'll be all right once the ball goes up. I think everybody's just ready to play the game.
Tar Heel forward Theo Pinson. South Carolina is the team few expected to be here. The Gamecocks believed in themselves, according to P.J. Dozier.
We knew we had a group of guys that can make this dream come true.
The Gamecocks to face off against Gonzaga, looking for its first national championship in a season in which they've lost just once. At the Final Four, Jeff Scott, ABC News, Phoenix.
And that first game tips off in about an hour from now. The women's final is set for tomorrow night. Mississippi State is going to take on South Carolina. The Bulldogs upset the team that had been top dog in women's college hoops, the University of Connecticut. In the semifinal game last night, the Huskies had won 4 straight national titles. This is ABC News.
From ABC and Dove Men's Deodorant, Shark Tank, Tank of Toughness.
To be a shark, you gotta swim like one.
You're out of your mind for not taking his offer.
When sharks talk deals, no matter what they recommend, it can get a little heated.
25 times cash flow for a tchotchke company. I can't watch you kill money that way.
One thing not up for debate, did you know that 91% of guys that use new Dove Men and Care antiperspirant recommend it? So if you're heading to the gym right now, pick up some on the way. And watch Shark Tank, Fridays at 9, 8 Central on ABC.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
From the KMET Weather Center for Beaumont on the Pass area this afternoon, we'll have sunny skies at a high 75. It'll be clear tonight with a low of 54. We'll have sunshine Sunday, our high 75 with winds to 25 miles an hour. It'll be clear and windy Sunday night with a low of 51. We'll have gusts to 30 miles an hour. It'll be sunny and windy on Monday with a high of 68 with winds to 35 miles an hour. For the Inland Empire, we'll have sunshine this afternoon with a high of 80. For Palm Springs, it'll be sunny, our high 86 with winds to 20 miles an hour. I'm Rod Tanner for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Welcome back, Constitution Radio, right here on KMET 1490. I tell you what, we need to one of these days put up a cam in here for the in-between segments in, during one break, because some of the antics that goes on in here would probably make a great reality show.
It would.
Between tripping over doorways and, throwing stuff at each other and waving our hands and cussing about, this knucklehead and that knucklehead in government. Let me tell you, and that's just Elise. You ain't even. I'm kidding.
Thank you, Doug.
I'm kidding. All right. Anyway.
Yes, that's true.
Say, hey, I understand. You're in my domain now.
I'm trying so hard. Believe me.
No, it's a pleasure having Elise in here. I'm having so much fun having her in here with us. And
Thank you, Doug.
real quick, Elise, top of the second hour, before we let you explode on Obamacare and what we were talking about on that last segment, remind everybody about your program out there in the desert communities.
Well, thank you so much, Doug. Yes, it is every Sunday morning, 9 to 11. It is K-News Radio. It is 943 FM. 943 FM goes now really almost all the way out to the 15. And so you can pick it up in some places. It's going way on out. But it is 943 FM. As I just said, it is 970, 1140, and 1250 AM as well up into the high desert. And I would invite all of you to join in. And if you can't catch it, just go to knews943.com, click on live, listen live if I'm on 9 to 11 on Sunday morning. There you have it. And if you missed that, you can click on demand and listen to the podcast. And I would invite you to do that. EliseRichmond.com is also out there, and you can get to it that way too. So thank you, and you're all invited. I'd love to have you join in.
It's funny because I was on another station not too long ago that I won't name the name of the station, but it's the big one with Rush, and they wouldn't let me talk about what station I'm on.
I think that is so silly.
They bleeped me out. Oh, that's a competitor. I said, no, we're not. We're allies. Come on, guys, really?
Absolutely.
But, anyway, all right.
So thank you, Dad.
All right. So now we were talking about Obamacare and repeal and all this other stuff, and the weak-kneed Republicans. And I could almost hear you chomping at the bit over there. Please enlighten us.
Okay, there are two things. The first one is no one has talked about the quality of the care. Now, I have always been very, very careful about choosing doctors and going places that I really felt they were the best, and now I have no choice. I lost every doctor that I had, that I had built up a relationship with. I know that happened to all of you. And then we have some little person, and they go, "Hi, my name is Amanda, and I'm here to help you. I'm going to lead you through this." And I go, "Oh, great, Amanda. Could you tell me who is the dermatologist?" "Oh, well, you have to ask your primary care." It goes on and on to the point of such frustration. I want to go right into the receptionist. I want to see the doctor. I want to do it like I've always done it before, and I think the quality of the care is not there. I got a referral, if I may, real quick, that sent me down to a dermatologist, and he walked in the room, he looked at me and he said, "And what's wrong with you?" He didn't say hello. He didn't say anything. And I said, "Well, this is happening." And "Oh, well, I can do that for $50 right now. Do you want me to do it?" And I looked at him, I go, "No." And I ran out. And I was in that room for maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes, maybe 5. And while I was waiting to make sure I didn't have to pay anything else, he had 2 other people go in and out of that room. That was the bedside manner that was received with that dermatologist. Now, that's number one, quality of care. Number 2 has to do with and Alex, you're going to love this, Commie Chaser. Any person that researches this and knows anything about their history knows that Lennon's Hospital, when I was a little girl, I couldn't wait to get home and get Life and Look magazine. It was my absolute connection to everything that was happening in the world in that little town in southern Illinois. And I saw a picture of hospitals in Russia where it said underneath that people were dying in the beds in the halls because there weren't enough rooms and there wasn't enough medicine and there weren't enough doctors. And that was what we now call linen care. And the first thing that communism, socialism wants to do is take over health care because it's total control of people. Mm-hmm. It ties it all together.
You agree, Alex? It ties into everything? Healthcare.
Yeah, I had a fellow teacher who was just adamant about how we need socialized health care, and she was as Marxist as they come. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's just an identifying emblem.
It is. And, people get very upset when you say the word commie or you say the word socialism or someone says socialist. They get very, very upset. And you can watch conservatives kind of cower. "Oh, I wish she wouldn't say it like that. I wish she wouldn't be so adamant about calling these people communists." Well, let's call them what they really are now. Progressivism is communism, period.
Well, when someone coils like that, it says, "Hey, that isn't kind of." So, well, then what do you call it, Vladimir?
That's right.
What about now? See, I was one of those people where not necessarily not necessarily an employee anywhere. I didn't make too little to get the subsidy, but I didn't make enough to afford the increased prices for the health care. So I lost my health care because I was one of those in-betweeners. The only reason I didn't get fined is because I'm a disabled veteran, and so I do get VA care for certain things. But I really have no insurance because of Obamacare. So,
Wow.
what do you tell people like me when it comes to
And you're
that?
a veteran?
And I'm a veteran. I'm a disabled veteran, and I have no health care other than care for my injuries. The things that were specifically injured when I was military is all I get.
That blows my mind. That absolutely blows my mind that you're a disabled veteran and you can only have your injuries, something relating to your injuries. Oh, Douglas, that's wrong.
And then, of course, you read the story about the doctor there at the VA who has an empty office because he dared to buck the system.
Yes.
Did you hear about that? Yeah. Well, we'll have to talk about it another time because we're running out of time if we keep talking about all this stuff. All right, Alex, your spotlight. We have a new, same book. This is the second time we're going to talk about it.
It's called Political Pilgrim.
Political Pilgrim by whom?
So it's by Paul Hollander, and it's tales of Western intellectuals going to the Soviet Union, China, and Cuba.
Okay. So okay. Say this in lay terms for the audience now. So someone went to these systems to see what was going on. Is that what it's about?
Back in the 20s and 30s and even 40s, communism was the new thing on the horizon. It was the supposed savior of mankind.
Yeah, I just asked Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I'm sorry.
So these people, the intellectuals in our society who thought that they knew better than everybody else and they had a special privileged perception, they took trips to the Soviet Union and then to Cuba and to China. And the one quote, I've got dozens and dozens of quotes, of course, but the one quote is, this guy runs into one of the KGB handlers that had dealt with him a decade or two before.
Right.
And he says, you fooled me. And the guy says, you wanted to be fooled.
You wanted to be fooled.
Yeah.
Boy, that sounds like it could fit right into today's leftist movement, couldn't it, right here in America?
Absolutely. Now, what they did, what the Russians did, and again, they're brilliant when it comes to destruction.
Right, of course. That's all they know how to do is destroy. As a matter of fact, Jesse Lee Peterson recently wrote an article, and that was what it was all about.
Well, they created Potemkin villages, and that's a term that's only common among commie hunters like myself and the lady there. But
yep.
And Elise, right.
Well,
the lady.
In the spirit of
she is a lady, I think. But yeah, Elise.
In the spirit of fake news, Alex, I guess fake villages is good too. So go ahead and explain them.
Well, what they did was they built Hollywood sets.
Yep.
The front of the building would be a facade. There was nothing behind it. But these people would go up and down the Volga River, for instance, and they'd see these happy villages with healthy people dancing and fat cows chewing their cud, and they'd get off at certain ones, and it might be a prison compound, and they'd see how advanced the treatment of the prisoners was and all this kind of stuff. It was all a lie from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a Hollywood set with the Wild West town, just make it look good from the distance. And
Blazing Saddles?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's true, and I was in China, and I saw it with my own eyes. It was facades of buildings to make everything that the tour buses were doing when they went down a certain road. It was very clean. It was facades of these very clean buildings with people looking very, very happy. And yes, I've seen that with my own eyes. That was in 1989, I guess.
And North Korea is probably the most extreme on all that,
Yes.
as far as controlling and showing.
All right,
you know,
please continue, Alex.
One of the identifying characteristics, in my opinion, of the communist personality is a fascination with fairy tales and storybooks. Lenin had a library of fairy tales in his book in his rooms in the Kremlin. John Reed wrote and frequented books on fairy tales. These people live in it's all right, except that it becomes a nightmare. Their dream becomes a nightmare. And the worst offenders are the Christians. We get the World Council of Churches had to change its name from the World Federation of Churches because it was discovered to be so pro-communist that people rejected it and they couldn't raise any money anymore, so they had to change their name. You got the American Friends Service Committee, which is in the pocket of North Korea. I've been at meetings where they praise the North Koreans' way of operating. As far as I'm concerned, part of this is my Ted Bundy theory, and that is you get a guy like Ted Bundy, he looks so normal. John Wayne Gacy, same thing. They look so normal. They look like anybody else. You can't see under the surface, but under the surface, they're homicidal maniacs. They not only kill women, but they terrorize them and torture them in the process. This is a syndrome that happens in a certain number. You watch TV on the true crime shows, you can see it all day long. This is something that it's not just odd coincidence or happenstance. There's a profilers can figure these people out because there's a type.
Right.
And I think there's a type that goes for totalitarian societies. For instance, now you got Bernie Sanders people all screaming about how they want a socialist revolution. Well, I thought we'd already done that. We already spent 150 years or so experimenting with socialist revolutions, and every one of them has been a failure, and most of them have ended up in mass murder and genocide. What's the problem? The problem is that these people can't think. They don't evaluate information on any kind of a rational basis, and as a consequence, they make it into a new religion, where the intellectuals and by the way, these people are self-appointed. The intellectual feels powerless in our society, feels like he's being ignored when he knows all the answers, kind of a Barack Obama. So he feels that he should be put in a position of power, and the way to do that is Marxism. The peace creeps respond to commie repression and brutality with loyalty and devotion.
All right, Alex, final sentence on the book, and then give us the title and the author again.
Okay, this is an exotic, new way to go, they think. It's not exotic, it's not new, it's old, it's failed, and the man who will tell us about that is Paul Hollander in Political Pilgrim, Travels of Western Intellectuals to the Soviet Union, China, and Cuba.
All right, now before we go to break, Elise, you got something?
Well, I just have one thing I want to add to what Alex is saying. You know, we have heard a lot from Maxine Waters this week. And this morning on AM Joy, I just bear up and go through that because I just have to listen to what some of the insanity these women are saying. But guess what? Maxine Waters' opinion is that Trump and the administration and some of his cronies, she's calling them the Kremlin clan. Now, can you believe that? Maxine Waters, who says, and I have the tape, that she is a socialist. She said it on tape some years ago. I'm going to play it again tomorrow on my show. is calling Trump and his administration and advisors the Kremlin clan. All they want to do is get the oil and gas money and drill.
It's fascinating. It took the Democrat Party 100 years to finally figure out that communism and Russia is the enemy, first of all. Before we go to break, our longest sponsor, the longest advertisers program with us since day one, August 6, 2011, when this show first started on a different station. The longest running commercial Constitution Quest game. They just texted me while we were talking, said that they're enjoying the show. Say hi to Elise for them.
And I am just over here looking at your computer, and I saw the Constitution Quest game, and I was going to say something on break about Pamela.
They are my longest advertisers.
Well,
now
wonderful.
They just last month, just a couple weeks ago, they won the American Small Business Award, sponsored by Walmart and Score. And now, today, 6 years ago today, the very first Constitution Quest games rolled into their shrink wraps.
Excellent.
So today's that anniversary.
They are brilliant and great people. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You want to learn the Constitution, that's the game to play. Constitution Quest game. Go to constitutionquest.com. When they made this game, they approached a number of constitutionalists to make sure it was accurate. I was one of those constitutionalists. It has my constitutional seal of approval. That said, we've got to go to break. We know because we got to pay the bills. But when we return, we'll talk about Devin Nunes. You want to talk about Devin Nunes? I'm all excited about talking about him. I actually am really enjoying him, except for the recusal thing. He should have been.
No, he's got to stand firm once again.
Yeah,
those Republican men.
Yeah,
got to stand firm.
I absolutely love this guy. We're also going to talk about the felony charges for Planned Parenthood. Gorsuch said it's his job to apply and enforce the law. Now, we were supposed to talk about this a little bit last week, but I want to tackle a little bit more when we return. Don't go anywhere. Help me fight the good fight. This radio program is funded by advertising dollars. So, if you are a business, add Constitution Radio with Douglas V. Gibbs to your business portfolio. If you are a listener, become a patron of the business's advertising on this program. Without advertising, your weekend dose of truth ends. With more advertising, Constitution Radio with Douglas V. Gibbs grows, and we will be on the way to win the battle to restore the Republic. To learn more, email us at constitutionspeaker@yahoo.com or visit douglasvgibbs.com.
Tired of working for others? Want to regain your freedom and flexibility in life? Want to invest in a successful business model with proven results and unlimited earning potential? Then Franchise Experts 360 can change your life. Franchise Experts 360 is a franchise consulting firm. Franchise Experts 360 represents 400 plus franchisors from all different industries. Franchise Experts 360 will work with you to find the franchise business model that fits your budget and lifestyle. Whether you're looking for a home-based retail, mobile service, direct ownership, or absentee ownership business model, Franchise Experts 360 has a franchise that's right for you. Visit franchiseexperts360.com. That's franchiseexperts360.com to contact our office. Our Franchise Experts 360 consulting services are at no cost to our clients. That's right, no cost, as we are paid by the franchisors. Change your life, invest it into yourself, grow a successful business model, and live the American dream. Franchise Experts 360 is your key to success. Contact franchiseexperts360.com. The second hour of Constitution Radio is partly brought to you by the Bravis Corporation and the new documentary film, Enemies Within, based on the book of the same name by Trevor Loudon. I have personally viewed this movie and have met and interviewed the author, Trevor Loudon, and if everyone in this country saw this film and took the time to understand and apply its important message, this country would immediately begin to solve its problems and its future would dramatically change for the better. This movie rips the mask off of over 100 members of Congress who are under the control of socialists, communists, and the Muslim Brotherhood, who are violating their oath of office to uphold the Constitution of the United States. They are actually working to undermine the Constitution of this country and to restrict the liberties of all Americans. In fact, based on their known associations, these members of Congress could not even pass a standard FBI background check to get a job in the local post office. And here they are in the halls of government. I encourage everyone to see this movie. It is available at enemieswithinmovie.com. You can rent it or buy it. Go to enemieswithinmovie.com and get your copy today. And then tell your friends. If you really want to understand why the Democrats do what they are doing, you need to know their masters. Learn who their masters are by going to enemieswithinmovie.com.
And now, back to our program.
Well, welcome back, Constitution Radio, KMET 1490 AM. If the beginning of that song you hear, when I, my outro, my intros, basically, that was written specifically for my program. However, you can find it online. Political Pistachio Theme is seriously, Amazon, Political Pistachio Theme by Thomas Piebald. It is available, like 99 cents or something. It's also part of their first album. It's the hidden song on their first album. So you can, so if you want to hear the whole song, it's about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that. And it was specifically written for my program. I have exclusive use and access to that song. And so that way I don't get sued by somebody out there someplace, for having somebody else's song as my intro. Thomas Piebald, a young musician. His mother has been listening to my program way long before I was even on AM radio. I did blog talk radio for about 5-6 years, and I got to the point where I had about 7,000 listeners per program, and it was time to take the next step. So AM radio made sense, and I've been doing AM since August 6, 2011. And once again, that original advertiser, the first one to say, we want to be a part of what you're doing, was Constitution Quest Game. Get your game, constitutionquest.com. All right. Nunes has been targeted for termination by the Democrats. He's just out of control. They don't know what to do with him. And I'm going to tell you right now, he is integral to this investigation.
Is. Yes, he totally is. And if there is, I've even considered, I never do write to Congress people, senators, whatever, but I probably should in this particular case and say just stand firm, because he is so important there. And the Democrats are saying that he is so partisan. Oh, he's so partisan.
Well, he's dangerous.
My
That's
gosh,
why. He's
a dangerous
to them.
partisan guy. And I guess...
hey, if it had been a GOP president staff abusing its power, NSA and all that, and someone spilled the beans, would the liberal leftists have acted in the same manner?
Oh my, come on, Chef, is he partisan? I ask you.
So we got Devin Nunes says, hey, I've seen it, I've heard it, I've got the info, and he's under attack. Why? Karl Marx, the meaning of peace is the absence of opposition to socialism. Simple as that. As a constitutionalist, the foundation of all my arguments is always the same. The U.S. Constitution only grants the federal government certain authorities for a reason. Government is a necessary evil. We cannot trust government to be honest, nor expect it to act only within the limitations afforded it. Government power can and will be abused. That's the whole point of the necessity of checks and balances, and for we the people to be as involved as we can in the task of keeping our republic. Remember Benjamin Franklin? A republic, ma'am, if you can keep it. We also know that our enemies are willing to do anything they can to interfere with our system. Liberty is a threat to collectivism. And while the Founding Fathers warned against foreign entanglements, they also meant foreign entanglements in both directions. And they also meant domestic enemies. And I think our domestic enemy is using the allegations of foreign intrusion as a pretext. The monitoring by the Democrats that may have existed was only supposed to look like it was for the purpose of catching the Russians, when in reality the Trump campaign was the real target. Congressman Devin Nunes has suggested the latter and has indicated he's seen material supporting that narrative. So if in fact the NSA acted in an illegal manner, and Trump's allegations against the Obama administration that states there was surveillance against his campaign holds water, should not Nunes feel duty-bound to expose such improprieties? Why is it that an attempt to shed more light on an issue that is shrouded in darkness and uncertainty, Nunes is being targeted by Democrats, and they are demanding his recusal from all investigations regarding the possibility of Russian hacking. The Democrats claim that if Nunes is a part of the investigation, the bipartisan nature of the team goes out the window. Are the Democrats claiming they are not partisan on this issue? And if Nunes has a valuable piece of information to help them find answers, why would he need to recuse himself? Democrats don't want an investigation. They have no intention of seeking out the truth.
A nation of sheep breeds a government of wolves.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
Alex started, then I lost him.
I just
there you
said
go.
a nation of sheep breeds a government of wolves. Doug, do you know what the difference between a mother-in-law and a vulture is?
What?
At least the vulture waits till you're dead before she eats your heart out. And that's like the Democrat. No matter what you do, it's going to be wrong. If you do the opposite tomorrow, that'll be wrong. It's always wrong.
Well, what's the answer to the question? What question? Any question. Whatever benefits the Democrats most at the moment, even if it contradicts what they said 10 minutes ago. The liberal left has already decided that Russia is guilty of hacking our election. Putin wanted Trump to win, despite the logic that says Moscow would desire a Democrat because the party of the donkey is weaker on national security, and anyone saying otherwise must be silenced. I mean, they're searching for something they believe will support that allegation. Anything that may bring a shadow of doubt about their allegations against the Russians is not welcomed and must be silenced, or in the case of Nunes, recused. Right?
And they always feel empowered to choose our standard bearers. None of the business who we choose as our leaders. They're ours.
All right.
Oh, that is an excellent point, Alex. It is true. Whoever emerges as the leader of the Republican Party, any group, whether they are actually, even if you look at clubs sometimes, and they try to do something that's just not right, towing the line like the Democrats think they should do, they attack them, and it makes it so with quiet nature conservatives anyway, they don't even want to get out there and try to do anything because they're scared to death they're going to be attacked.
Nunes himself has indicated that none of this has anything to do with the possibility of Russian collusion and everything to do with taking down the Trump presidency. I mean, he's asked, why is it inappropriate for the House Intelligence Committee chair to share intelligence about the president with the president? Why is it wrong for him to let the world know he's done exactly that? Why was it wrong for the House Intelligence Committee chair to see classified information from a source at the White House? And matter of fact, I'll get back to Tucker Carlson. He had someone on yesterday who, said, hey, it's matter of fact, what's his name? Sean Spicer says, hey, it was totally appropriate.
Absolutely.
He was questioned, and he said it was totally appropriate. All right. Now I see Dennis over there. He's got the stare. He's got something to say. It was totally appropriate for Nunes to do what he did. And he's being told he has to recuse himself because he might know something?
Yeah, the Democrats try to play the high moral ground by raising these questions in these issues, and it's just totally sheer hypocrisy. Elise was talking earlier, about Maxine Waters and the fact that she's a socialist.
Maxine, yeah.
And then, we had at the break the commercial, on enemies within. I mean, the data is so comprehensive that the socialists, the communists, the socialists, the unions have taken over the Democratic Party, that they are the hand inside the Democratic Party puppet. And for that party to have concerns about the influence of Russia on President Trump or the Republicans, when they've been in bed with these guys for decades and do their bidding, is just, pure hypocrisy.
Trey Gowdy regarding Nunes said to the Weekly Standard, if that's where the information is, and the information is relevant, and it's authentic, and it's reliable, wouldn't you go where the information was?
Well, we need to follow the information, and we just need to quit worrying about all the slate of hand tricks that the opposition party is going to throw, because that's all they have.
They want you to believe the information is not valid because Nunes was somehow ethically compromised. The information and the truth is not what matters. It's the messenger. It's all about the messenger. Definition of if a fact is a fact has become dependent upon who the messenger is. I mean, whistleblowers only accept acceptable, if they support the liberal left narrative. I mean, otherwise they're traitors. I mean, how is that the truth? And how is it that the truth can suddenly mean nothing if the messenger is not a Democrat Party member and if the information does not support a pre-written leftist script that is only satisfied if you can use it to overthrow the current president of the United States?
Well, and look at, Tom Perez here recently. I mean, he's out saying that President Trump was not, properly elected. He's broad brushing the Republicans, or we don't care about people. This is just the Hatfields and McCoy continuing battle. And it's not about the principles. It's not about facts or truth or really policy. It's just name-calling at its worst and just trying to get their way and stop the Republican Party from accomplishing the agenda that they were elected to do. But as Pelosi and others said, elections have consequences, and we just need to have a backbone and go through and just do these things. Well, and let the facts lead where they're going to lead.
And this takes us back to National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn and the discussions that were secretly recorded by American intelligence agencies, which makes the tapes classified documents. But yet that information was conveyed to the Washington Post. Isn't that a felony? Why wasn't the fact that was a crime looked at? The Post reporter David Ignatius, who published the classified material, I mean, he should be prosecuted, right? Because he published classified material. How did that classified? See what I'm getting at?
There's no accountability. They can say anything they want from any source, break any law, because we have never pushed back. Tell me one person in Congress or in any administration other than Nixon resigning, that has ever been held accountable for what they've done. You had, Sandy Berger, walking out of the White House with documents stuffed in his pants.
In his pants,
exactly. And there's no accountability. Nobody's will grab these guys and throw them in jail and throw the book at them.
But Alex, this is nothing new, right? I mean, the communists have always done this kind of stuff, right?
Well, the Sandy Berger or Sandy Burglar is an especially telling example. The issue at the time was whether Clinton had done what he needed to do or what was reasonable to do to capture or kill bin Laden. Apparently, there were documents in the archives that proved that he was lackadaisical, that he let it happen. And so he had to send his operative in to steal that stuff. Now, that's a major crime. It's a major violation of the Constitution. It's as big as anything gets, and yet they hush-hushed it. It's nothing to see here. Keep on moving. Nothing to see here. Don't look at the guy behind the curtain.
Well, and like I say, I am pleased that you had the more detail to back up that thing from Berger, however many years and years and years ago that was. But there is absolutely no accountability. There is no shame. They can say anything, do anything they want, and nobody's going to come after them. They ought to be arrested. They ought to lose their pensions. They ought to be taken for possible, if it's treason or fired for violating their oath of office. But, there's no teeth.
Nobody went after the IRS. Nobody said a word. They tried to smooth over Bill Clinton in the plane with the Attorney General, with Loretta Lynch. I mean, nobody said a word about that. They tried, and then they just kind of let it slide by.
Well, Eric Holder and the guns. I mean, you just go through over and over and over. And
do we have to say Benghazi? Oh, my God. Well, 4 Americans died, and nobody would let that ever.
Yeah,
no one paid for that.
You start pushing back on these things.
I can hear that
you're
conversation on that plane.
You're going to keep getting more and more of the same.
That's
and like
right.
I say, there'll be more.
You know how that conversation on the plane with Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch, right? Hey, how's the grandchildren?
Oh, yeah.
You want to ever see them again?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's possible.
They're complaining about people getting immunity, whereas Hillary's staff was given immunity with no trade-off.
Right.
Ordinarily, you give immunity in order to get something, something important. And these
Flynn doesn't. But Flynn doesn't get immunity, and you know what? When he asked for immunity, when it comes to Michael Flynn with this upcoming stuff, you know what the left's response was, right? Well, if he wants immunity, then he's automatically guilty because you're guilty if you want immunity, right?
One wonders about all of Hillary's staff that took the immunity, same thing. Or all those rotten communists back in the 30s and 40s. Yeah, them too.
Mm. All right, we're going to go to break. Last break, last segment coming up of the final second hour. See, even 2 hours goes by quickly, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's amazing how fast it goes when you're having fun, especially when you have Elise Richmond in the studio with you. I'm telling you, K-News has a gym here with Elise Richmond, and we have the pleasure of having her in the studio with us. One segment left, felony charges for Planned Parenthood filming, Gorsuch, apply and enforce. Both of those topics when we return. Stay with us.
Tired of working for others? Want to regain your freedom and flexibility in life? Want to invest in a successful business model with proven results and unlimited earning potential? Then Franchise Experts 360 can change your life. Franchise Experts 360 is a franchise consulting firm. Franchise Experts 360 represents 400 plus franchisors from all different industries. Franchise Experts 360 will work with you to find the franchise business model that fits your budget and lifestyle. Whether you're looking for a home-based retail, mobile service, direct ownership, or absentee ownership business model, Franchise Experts 360 has a franchise that's right for you. Visit franchiseexperts360.com. That's franchiseexperts360.com to contact our office. Our Franchise Experts 360 consulting services are at no cost to our clients. That's right, no cost, as we are paid by the franchisors. Change your life, invest it into yourself, grow a successful business model, and live the American dream. Franchise Experts 360 is your key to success. Contact franchiseexperts360.com. The second hour of Constitution Radio is partly brought to you by the Bravas Corporation and the new documentary film Enemies Within, based on the book of the same name by Trevor Loudon. I have personally viewed this movie and have met and interviewed the author, Trevor Loudon, and if everyone in this country saw this film and took the time to understand and apply its important message, this country would immediately begin to solve its problems, and its future would dramatically change for the better. This movie rips the mask off of over 100 members of Congress who are under the control of socialists, communists, and the Muslim Brotherhood, who are violating their oath of office to uphold the Constitution of the United States. They are actually working to undermine the Constitution of this country and to restrict the liberties of all Americans. In fact, based on their known associations, these members of Congress could not even pass a standard FBI background check to get a job in the local post office. And here they are in the halls of government. I encourage everyone to see this movie. It is available at enemieswithinmovie.com. You can rent it or buy it. Go to enemieswithinmovie.com and get your copy today. And then tell your friends. If you really want to understand why the Democrats do what they are doing, you need to know their masters. Learn who their masters are by going to enemieswithinmovie.com. Help me fight the good fight. This radio program is funded by advertising dollars. So, if you are a business, add Constitution Radio with Douglas V. Gibbs to your business portfolio. If you are a listener, become a patron of the businesses advertising on this program. Without advertising, your weekend dose of truth ends. With more advertising, Constitution Radio with Douglas V. Gibbs grows, and we will be on the way to win the battle to restore the Republic. To learn more, email us at constitutionspeaker@yahoo.com or visit douglasvgibbs.com. Time for the final segment here on Constitution Radio with Douglas V. Gibbs, douglasvgibbs.com, politicalpistachio.com, and KMET 1490am.com. Thank you for spending the 2 hours with us, but you know what? I know some of you came in and say, hey, with this great show, I didn't get to hear the whole thing. That's okay. KMET 1490am.com. Find the page for Constitution Radio, and there's a podcast link on that page. Go to the podcast page, hear all of our shows in their entirety. Also, these shows eventually wind up on youtube.com/Douglas V. Gibbs.
So you can get the video so you can watch me usually gesticulating to nobody in particular. But here we go. Next topic. The crimes of Planned Parenthood, which includes selling body parts of slaughtered babies, was exposed by two individuals who secretly filmed Planned Parenthood personnel. The complicit media and leftist judicial accomplices recognize truth as being a threat to their horrifying agenda. And so the pro-life activists who did the filming have been charged with, are you ready for this? 15 felonies. The reasoning? Well, they invaded the privacy of medical providers by filming without consent. Now, if the tables were turned and the secret undercover filming had supported a liberal left narrative, they would not be guilty of felonies. They would be showered with praise for their courageousness. But as we saw with the judicial attacks against Trump's perfectly constitutional executive orders designed to enforce existing immigration law, the liberal left judges in this country could care less about the law and rule based on their political bias. The framers of the U.S. Constitution will be ashamed of these judicial oligarchs.
Absolutely. I come from a female place here. No matter what you do in terms of abortion, it's murder. And I personally was a Democrat once upon a time. I am so sorry about that, folks, but it was true. My parents were Democrats. I was a Democrat because my parents were Democrats, because I loved Jackie Kennedy, only now Melania Trump, on my land, outshining even Jackie Kennedy.
Yeah.
Oh, people get upset when I say that, but she's just a total class act. Anyway, and did you know, I'm off the subject, but did you know that the Dems are putting together a big petition on Melania Trump to get her to move from New York, from Trump Tower, into the White House, because they say that it's costing so much to make her safe in New York. Well, that cost is probably not anything by the time she moves, when the son is out of school and she actually moves down, that Obama has concerning his vacations, he and Michelle and all the mother-in-law and everybody, $85 million. There you go.
Well, what about the plane trips, the big plane that Pelosi had from to California?
But no, let's not
security at their Trump home is probably better, number one. Number two, they've lived so well. Sleeping in the White House is probably like sleeping at a hotel, Motel 8, or Motel 6.
A Motel 6, exactly. I bet.
For them, not that I'm putting down Motel 6. That's usually where I stay. But for them, it's a step down, right, to be at the White House. But
well,
anyway,
it's ridiculous, but that's what they're doing. So I'm sorry, that was off subject.
So we got filmmakers DeLayden and David DeLayden and Sandra Merritt of the Center for Medical Progress. What a great name. The felony charges were applied 8 months after similar charges were dropped in Texas. Of course, they went to California, and they knew they'd make a mistake there.
Exactly.
State Attorney General Xavier Becerra, I usually want to choke him anyway, liberal left Democrat, former Congress critter who is also determined to protect the leftist agenda, even if it means ignoring the law and making politically biased decisions to force any dissent into silence, said in a statement that the state of California will not tolerate the criminal recording of conversations.
But they will tolerate murdering the unborn.
All right, Alex.
We have an example in 60 Minutes. I've seen literally hundreds of 60 Minutes undercover exposés that used exactly the same techniques, and there was never a hint.
Yeah, but those were real journalists.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Well, those are real journalists. Delayed and Merritt. They're just some conservative nutcases. So they need to be made an example of, because the freedom of press only applies to leftists.
It's a question of whose ox gets gored.
Exactly, Dennis. What do you think?
No, I agree. I mean, the issue is, what are the truths? And trying to get to it. I mean, people aren't entitled to their own truths. They aren't entitled to their own facts. They can interpret facts different ways. But right now, as far as all the issues that are going on in Washington, let's just establish the facts.
Well, the truth doesn't matter. It's the messengers that are attacked. And that's always the way it is.
But you can find the facts. You have to use whether it be the intelligence community, whether it be the powers of subpoena, you just need to go in there and just be bulldog determined to get the facts, put it out in the open, put it into public scrutiny, and I trust the American people will judge things generally correctly if they're given the right information. But everything is confused, is watered down, is changed, is modified to where I'm a concerned citizen. And on a lot of these issues we're talking about today, I have opinions, but I really don't truly know what all the facts are. I'm still waiting for these guys to come clean, and they are.
Right.
Absolutely. And, back to this filming. So how would we know about this? I didn't know that they were selling unborn baby parts, which is to me probably one of the most egregious things that could ever happen in this earth. And it was amazing to me. So how would we know that? How would we even know that? Just like how would we have known about abortion with, I can't think of his name. I'm trying to think of the name.
Gosnell?
Yeah, how would we have known what they were doing to babies that were born?
It had not been the people that have. Well, the message by the liberal left Democrats and their cronies seems to be that if you can't stop those who dare to stand against the liberal left narrative, try again. They will do whatever. This time in California, the liberal left got its wish and delayed demerit for exposing how Planned Parenthood is even more heinous than we suspected, have been charged with 15 felonies, and will probably get the maximum sentence. And perhaps something worse. Just ask Dinesh D'Souza how fair the judges are with conservatives for daring to film while not a liberal leftist. Simply put, the liberal courts are not abiding by the rule of law. They are ruling based on their political, ideological bias. The leftist judges in this country are a danger to the American system and treasonous in their support of a leftist ideology designed to overthrow the U.S. Constitution and replace it with a socialist system never intended by the Founding Fathers. All right, we got to get to the next topic. So that's it on that
selective prosecution.
Yes, sir.
I say this is bold-faced selective prosecution.
Sure. All right. Here, real quick. Reality of the Trump presidency largely rides on the fact that voters trusted Donald Trump's potential choice regarding a placement for Antonin Scalia's vacant seat on the U.S. Supreme Court bench than they did regarding Hillary Clinton's. I like the guy. He is among the best choices. He's very Scalia-like. However, when asked about what his job is, and being hammered by the idiots, I think it was Feinstein, Fine Knucklehead, whatever her name is.
Di-Fi.
Yeah. His response to her questioning was, whatever is in Heller is the law. Well, first of all, a judicial ruling is not the law. Only legislation is. And then he added, it's not a matter of agreeing or disagreeing, Senator. Respectfully, it's a matter of it being the law. And my job is to apply and enforce the law. Wrong answer. You're there to apply the law. The executive branch enforces the law. This has been known since day one. John Jay refused to become Chief Justice again when John Adams asked him after losing to Jefferson in the 1800 election because it was too weak of a position. There was no enforcement power. In Marbury versus Madison, Marbury won the case, but the words to him by John Marshall was, you won the case, but you're not going to get your commission because the one who enforces the law is the one who refused to give you your commission. And then there was Andrew Jackson with the Worcester case who said, John Marshall has given his opinion. Now let's see him enforce it. They are not supposed to enforce. That is the executive branch. All they can do is apply the law and have opinions on the law. So, thoughts?
My thought is that I like Gorsuch as a Supreme Court judge. I am pleased with Trump's pick. I was pleased with the whole list that he gave. He did what he said he would do. And I think we have to think about the possibilities of who could be there if Hillary had won.
Yeah, I'll take Gorsuch over most of them out there. I'm not complaining too loud about him. He's a good choice. But he's
I can't
not as
complain
pure
about
as a
it,
constitutionalist as
you
he
wanted.
could be.
I understand the words that you're saying. I'm hearing, and I was listening to you very, very carefully. I also think that under pressure of all of just the stupidity of some of the questions that were coming from the left, coming from the Democrats, and you're trying to not make them look so stupid as they are, I think that after a while you would just get so, shall we say, tired of having to answer this carrying on. And so possibly you would make a faux pas in the verbiage of it all.
All right, we're rapidly running short on time. Dennis, what's your thoughts? And then we'll go to Alex.
Well, again, Trump is doing what he said he was going to do. Gorsuch was on the list. I think we just need to push forward with it and let the Democrats do what they're going to do. They'll probably do the filibuster. They are not going to cooperate in any fashion, and you just need to drive home what you were elected to do.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
All right, Alex, thoughts about Gorsuch real fast?
Yeah, all this is a kabuki dance. We know what's going to happen. They're going to try to filibuster. We're going to pull the nuclear option. The guy's going to become the Supreme Court justice, and all the rest of it is just another way for them to smear us.
And then Ginsburg will then have a heart attack, and it'll all be over for them. All right. Plug yourself. Well, you got a new blog. What's this? You opened up a blog now on your website?
Yeah, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I've got a blog. I got
Holy
some
cow.
people to set it up for me. You just go to conservativecannonade.org. There's a thing, free print, I think it is, something like that. You click on that. It says blog, but the lady that kindly did it for me misspelled it. It's biog. It'll still work.
Okay. Real quick, because we've got about 30 seconds. Dennis, plug yourself.
Well, I'm here to help represent the movie Enemies Within, the documentary on Trevor Loudon's book of the same name. And if you want to know what powers and forces are behind the Democrats, it's socialism, exactly. And the book goes through it in great detail.
Elise?
Tomorrow on the Elise Richmond Show, 9 o'clock on 943 FM, you can hear Dr. Bonner Cohen, who is going to be talking about the EPA and what Donald Trump did to change some of Obama's executive orders. It's going to be great to hear that because he's an expert on the environment. Tomorrow morning, 9 to 11. Dr. Bonner Cohen, Elise Richmond, listen in. Yeah.
And thanks for listening. I am Douglas V. Gibbs, douglasvgibbs.com. April 1st is today, 5 to 7 p.m., Myrna's Cafe, 26850 Cherry Hills Boulevard for the Constitution Association monthly dinner meeting. United we stand, combined we kick butt. God bless America, and God bless you. We'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us. Love you all.
This was